when it comes to social media marketing, you got to have a different purpose for each of them. That's one of the big primary areas that we get it wrong, and especially as real estate agents, is they say, all right, I got to get a Facebook page, I got to get an Instagram page, I got to get a whatever page, and then they just throw content everywhere, and it's a sort of just like dump of content. So I want you to get very, very specific with Instagram. So the way I'm going to kind of do this is I'm going to kind of just talk to y'all up front. If I just show you a bunch of slides, then you're going to lose interest. I mean, hopefully you don't. I'm not that boring, but at some point it'll just be like slides and slides and slides. So what I want to do is I kind of just want to talk to you about Instagram right up front. And then I'm going to show you a PowerPoint, just kind of walk you through some like how-tos. And I'm actually going to get in my phone and show you how to do a few things. But this is really kind of like not just bare basic Instagram, but it's sort of like the strategies around it. So, all right. So let's talk about Instagram. So when you get on Instagram, there's 3 types of accounts that you can have. You can have a personal account, you can have a business account, and you can have a creator account. Creator is the newest account. Understand this. If you have a business account and a creator account, everything is public. So if you're okay with your entire world being public, by all means do a business or a creator account. Y'all as real estate agents should, I'll tell you fair warning right now, my account's a personal account. I had it as a creator account. I had a lot of competition trolling me, taking my content and then reusing it. So I brought mine back to a personal. That just shows you that I bring really good content to the table. I'm just kidding. I had to say that one in there. But what I'm saying is know that if you have a personal account, you can make it private. If you have a business and a creator account, you can make it, it'll be public. All right. So what does this all look like? So when you're doing Instagram, so the very first thing that you want to think about, and again, I'll show you kind of what it all looks like, is your bio. You have to have a really effective bio. That's the very first thing that people see. And when you write your bio, make sure to use emojis. I know this sounds crazy and I know it sounds silly, but we associate more visually than we do with words. Anybody does. And I don't care what age bracket or anything like that. We associate to emojis and fun, especially on Instagram. And like I said, I'm going to show you what all this looks like through a presentation, but I just kind of wanted to talk to you up front about all this stuff, because if you kind of listen right up front, write a couple things down, you're going to retain a whole lot more of this information. So also when you write your bio, it's important for you to associate what's known as your brand tone. So I know a lot of y'all are new. So the very first presentation I usually do is called The Power of an Online Brand. And it's really focusing on, you need to know your brand identity before you do anything. If you don't know who you are as a company, as a brand, from a marketing strategy, and so on, none of it's going to matter. You're just going to post information that's going to be redundant to everybody else. So your brand tone should come across in your bio. So like for me, innovative marketing, experience driven, passionate entrepreneur, presenter, national presenter, so on and so on. Digital media, stuff like that is very brand tone aligned with me. In your bio also, and again, I'm going to show you what all this looks like, so don't, stress on that. You also want to include a link, because in Instagram, in your bio, you can actually have a clickable link that you could then drive people to. So whether that be to a blog, to a website, this is all going to go kind of in the strategy on what you're doing. I would recommend for y'all, instead of doing a business profile, I would do a creator. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the difference. So business is really for a corporation, a standard business. It's going to give you standard business insights, whereas a creator account it's more for brand influencers. So what I want you to think about yourself as on Instagram is I want you all to associate yourself as a brand influencer. And what I mean by that is usually when we think of influencers on Instagram or Facebook, we think of people with 300, 400, 500,000 followers and so on. And you may have 500. You're like, well, I'm not an influencer. You need to look at your identity as an influencer, because everything that you put out there is going to start virally growing by you attaching to people, by you providing value. You essentially are influencing the marketplace based off of your content. So you need to be a brand influencer, okay? I'm going to make this really casual too. So if you have any questions up front, let me know, like raise your hand. And Natalia said, yes, you can convert a business account to a creator account. You can convert personal to creator, creator to, yes. And I'll show you how to do that. Another thing that you want to do is right up front with your logo or your profile picture, make it a very recognizable picture. Okay. So if it's something you're associated to, make sure people can see your face, make sure people can see your logo. Don't do a picture of, you and your family in Hawaii from 6 years ago where it's like way back on the beach and I can see this much of you. Because Instagram is that little bitty picture and you can't expand it. So it needs to be a recognizable figure. One of the things you want to do right up front before you do anything in marketing is you want to set goals. So many times we don't even identify what our goals are. And, Sharon and Amber know this. So one thing I'll get you into maybe after this presentation is setting a social strategy calendar. And what I mean by that is, we break apart, what does it mean to post on Facebook? What does it mean to post on Instagram? Who's your target audience? And when I say target audience, what I want you to do is I want you to give your audience a personality. So they need to know, I need to know not just that you're working with XYZ client, but this is the way they shop. This is the way they think. This is where they spend their time. They shop on Amazon a lot. They go to a lot of kid functions, because they have kids at school. They're on the PTO or whatever the case may be. You need to know your personality or their personality. So when you market on Instagram, you are speaking right to them. Does that make sense? So it's so important for you to set your goals up front. Some of your goals might be, are you showing off your products and services? Are you building a brand? Are you building a community? Are you increasing awareness of your brand? You're showcasing your values, your culture, your fun, are you increasing brand loyalty? You've got 1,000 people. Do you want them to go out and bring people in? Are you sharing news? So you need to determine what your goals are for your Instagram channel, and not so much just your Instagram page, but what are your goals for that week? What are your goals for each audience member, and so on and so on. So like I said, the next presentation, I'll walk you through what the social strategy calendar looks like. I'm going to say this and I'm going to backtrack on my own words. So Instagram, think about this. The whole point of Instagram is to look like a gallery, right? It's literally picture, 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 picture. So once you really step up your game in Instagram actually wants you to pay attention to your color palette. Meaning, and I'm not saying you have to do this tomorrow, and I understand we take pictures and we post it, but think about it like this. From a visual standpoint, if you have a picture that's red and green and yellow right here, and your next picture is black and orange over here, it's gonna look segmented. You know what I mean? And I'm not, so I'm saying, so ideally on an Instagram page, the color flow is very visual. Now, here's where I'm gonna eat my words. Don't worry so much about that right now, because if you sit here and stress out on, oh my gosh, none of that is what I'm doing. I'm not going to go through and, make pink and orange tones or whatever. I don't want you to stress on that right now. The whole point of your Instagram is to be visual. But at some point, once you start really getting good into Instagram, start looking at it like feng shui. And I know that's a funny word and I haven't used that in a long time, but start looking at it like it's got to be visually appealing. When you walk into a house, what's one of the first things that y'all determine? You look at design, right? You look at how the house is decorated. You look at the color schemes. Is it crowded? Well, anybody that's looking at your Instagram page is looking at that, whether they know it or not. If it's just a bunch of ugly photos put together, and I'm joking when I say that, but like it's going to pop and look segmented. Fonts. You want to stay consistent with fonts. So when you post like stuff, we don't ever think about this stuff. None of us ever think about this. We find a meme we like online, we post it, we say, great quote. But that font may be in cursive, right, on the meme. And then your next picture may be like cartoon font. And then, so what it's going to do is it's going to look very choppy. So if you can the whole point I'm making with this is you want to have a very fluid style on your Instagram. Okay. Captions. And again, I'm going to get into showing you all this stuff. I know I'm talking, but there's a reason I'm doing this, because most times if I just show a presentation, most people take away a small amount from just looking at slides. If I make it conversational up front, you start to retain a lot more. And then when I show you the presentation and show you my phone, it's more associative learning. Like you're actually associating what we talked about right now. So posting consistently, I'm sorry, let me step back. Let's talk about captions. So when you do a post, a lot of people just do a couple words as their caption or just post something. It's very, very, very important to include a caption. This was shot, I'm just totally making this up, but like had a great lunch in South Lake today. This restaurant, we were at Gloria's is in South Lake, right? It's been a while since I've been there, the square. But had a great lunch at Gloria's. The steak salad's phenomenal. Their old fashions here at Gloria's are awesome. Check out some of my pictures with my team, blah, 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 blah. Like give it a strong caption so that you're really describing your picture. I'm not just doing this for your audience. This is for your algorithms. Instagram is basing you and ranking you based off of what you're supplying. And I'll get into hashtags here in a second. Post consistently. So I know your next question is probably asking, what does it mean to be consistent? I would tell you to post once or twice a day. A lot of people come back and say, I've heard people say, post on Instagram once a week and you'll be fine. No, I'm just like, at the end of the day, if you post once a week on Saturday, think about your consumer. I literally never see you, right? You do once or twice a day, something of value. But remember, everybody's posting. So that's when we get all nervous if we post once or twice a day. Amber might be stressing out like, oh my gosh, this is my second post. Do I look like I'm over posting? Nobody is sitting there just staring at their timeline like, wait, Amber just posted again. I posted 5 times yesterday of my kid. And I'm not saying like 5, but like he just was really funny yesterday or whatever. But, like if it's something enjoyable, follow this model right here, especially during COVID. Focus on empathy, education, and entertainment. So empathy is you showing your audience that you could be empathetic of everything that's going on right now. One of the big things, and I'll talk about this here in a second, but one of the big things is rates are extremely low. Don't ever say something like, oh my gosh, rates are all-time low. I could help you. Let's get you in the home of your dreams now. Because you're capitalizing off of everybody losing their job, people losing their homes, people, like not having a job and so on and so on. So what you want to say instead of something like, oh my gosh, rates are, you don't want to look like you're excited about our rates right now. What you want to do is, this is a really tough time. Rates right now are at an all-time low. Let me help you navigate through this to make some good financial decisions in your house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so that's empathy. You show people that you can relate to them and what they're going through. Second is going to be education. You're constantly educating your audience as to what they should be informed of. And entertainment, you have to be fun. You have to bring in your personality. It can't just all be about real estate. Like it literally can't. Because if you're robotic in that sense, people will tune you out. Okay. Let's see. So let's take a look at analyzing. So let's look at what you're doing successfully. So look at all of your posts that you're putting out there. I want to know the post get 50, say 100 likes or 30, 40, whatever you deem as successful. What are the posts that are getting all the engagement? What are the posts that are getting you the return you want? And do more of that. So if you post a house and you say great listing coming up, blah, 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 and you get 2 likes, and then you say great neighborhood, whatever, and you get 1 like, slow that down. And I'm not telling you to steer away from real estate. I'm saying that nobody really cares. And I'm not telling you not to show stuff off because I know it's important. The biggest thing that you care about is what are people engaging on your page? 1, because you're providing to your audience what's known as sticky content that's relevant, that sticks to them, rather than stuff that people just aren't associating to. So go back and do a post and check it in 7, check it in 30, check it in 90 days to see what your engagement is like. That's what's known in marketing as A/B testing. So when you do a post and you put something out there and you do a house and it gets you 1 like, you're like, man, I really need to show this off. Post a picture of a community, like the community center, or people doing Camp Gladiator outside in the community, and say something like, I've got an amazing listing in this community where everybody hangs out together. Anybody interested in seeing that listing? Then all of a sudden people will be like, holy cow, love the community, love the atmosphere, I want to see the listing. Okay. Another thing that a lot of people omit or don't do as well, every single time you get comments, respond and drive engagement. So think about this. There's two types of presences you can have out there. One, you could be present online. That simply means you have a Facebook page, you have a Facebook business page, you have a profile, you have an Instagram page, or whatever the case may be. You are present online. You have a business card online. Or you have an online presence, meaning you're active, you're engaged with your audience, they're engaged with you. One thing that I'm sure Sharon and Amber have heard me say 1,000 times, on your Instagram, on your Facebook, I would much rather you have 1,000 really engaged followers than 5,000 likes. Like literally, you need people to be doing stuff. You will never rank if people aren't engaging, sharing, commenting, liking, referencing, whatever the case may be. Any questions thus far? I know I'm telling you a bunch. And like I said, I'll show you. I promise I'm not going to forget that. Any questions at all? Is this making sense? Are y'all bored? Okay, good. All right, hashtags. Hashtags are, I know they're silly and everything. Hashtags are enormously important. Enormously important. So if you don't know what a hashtag is literally, and like I said, I'll type out a post here in a second. When you do a post, awesome time presenting with Amber and Sharon today. So much fun. Love their group. Love working with Providence Title. Hashtag lucky me. Hashtag web marketing. Hashtag, Insta for life. Whatever hashtag Providence. But what you're doing is when you reference a hashtag, you put a £, and then you start typing, and you'll see all of the trending topics that associate to what you're typing. So like, let's say I'll show you when I do a post, but let's say I post a picture of a lake here in my community, and I took my son out there, and I took, my dog out there, and we had a good time or whatever. And let's say I did hashtag dogs of Instagram. The second I do hashtag dogs, start typing it in, you'll see it all populate that dogs of Instagram have 40 million likes or whatever. I'm just making that up. You want to use hashtags so that you're gluing yourself to trending topics. Does that make sense? So you don't always have to invent it. And I'll show you what I mean by that, but hashtags are enormously important. So right now, the magic number of hashtags on Instagram, because they do judge, they want to see what they want. The magic number of hashtags per post is 11, which I know some of you are like, holy cow, how am I going to come up with 11 hashtags? Just be fun with it. Enjoy it. And I'll show you kind of how to do it visually so you don't look annoying. But 11 hashtags per post will get you screaming through the ranks of Instagram. Okay? So while you're doing while you're doing hashtags, start thinking about brand specific hashtags. So like Sharon might do like hashtag Sharon Wiggins title or whatever. I mean, whatever. I'm just making that up. Like, that's not the most exciting thing. But my point is like, hashtag Brian Nacklis marketing or whatever. So now all of a sudden, every time I do some type of business related post, you start sprinkling that in there. When I show you on Instagram, so my kid's name is Tucker and his middle name is Jack. So he's Tucker Jack. And so every time, like ever since he was a baby, like I did hashtag Tucker Jack. And there was literally probably 20 posts about Tucker Jack. Now, and that's everything. Anytime I ever show Tucker, do hashtag Tucker Jack. Now there's like, I want to say there's like over 1,000 posts for Tucker, just Tucker Jack alone. And there's all the, like, there's people and their dogs who name them Tucker Jack. I'm not saying they took it from my kid, but I'm saying you start to see the trend. Well, when I show you, you'll see not me, not me, not me, not me. Then you'll see Tucker, not me, not me. And then where it gets back to the beginning, you'll see all of Tucker. So I was kind of like the OG when it comes to starting up hashtag Tucker Jack, which is kind of cool. So brand.
I have Providence title FTW, by the way.
See, there you go. So that's, so you want to associate some type of identifier to your name. All right. The last thing I want to kind of talk about is include your face, include faces in it. People associate to faces, they associate to emotion, and so on and so on. So, all right, let me go ahead and share my screen. So what I'm going to do, hold on, let me get out of this. All right, actually, I'm going to plug my phone in, and I'm going to show you kind of what we're talking about here. And then I'm going to share my screen and show you some other stuff. Okay. All right. Let me come in here. Oops. Okay, can y'all, what are y'all, hold on, let me stop sharing this. All right. Let me do my phone here. There we go. Okay. All right, can y'all see my phone?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so let me get into Insta. Okay. So here is my Instagram page. So like I said, I have mine as a personal. When I show you the presentation, my coworker Sarah and I were like, she's a good buddy of mine in Florida. She has a business account. So I'm gonna show you some screenshots from her business account. Like I said, I got trolled by a lot of competition who then stole my stuff. So I made mine private again, but you can do it however. But let's say, can you see my mouse? You can? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So down here with your little person, I'm going to show you how to make it into a business or into a creator account. So you click on your little person. Okay. And then you click on the, so we call this the little hamburger menu up here. So click on your hamburger menu. And then you go into settings. Click on account. And you see down here, it says switch to a professional account. So if you have a professional account, it may say switch to creator or personal. But this is how you change accounts. So I'm going to say go ahead and switch to professional account. And I'm not going to do it just because, like I said, but I'm going to show you where to go. So right here, it says, okay, well, what best describes you? Creator or business? So the creator is best for public figures, brand influencers, content producers. I'm going to say that this is, buddy, no. Please disregard. That's Tucker, everybody. And my dog. Okay. Okay, close the door. That's Tucker Jack. Okay. So anyway, welcome to quarantine, everybody. So which best describes me, creator or business? Like I said, I would personally, for y'all, be a creator. Just because it's going to give you cool insights. It's more trendy and more Instagram. So I would say go that direction. All right. So let's go ahead and do a post. All right. So I did this, actually, let me delete this. So I did this last class. Let me delete this. Delete. All right. So I do a post down here. I clicked on the plus button at the bottom. So this right here is one of the ponds in my community. It's super pretty and it's by the dog park. So I just took a picture of it. So this little button right here means you can expand or bring in. So expand, right? So I'm going to bring that in there. And then you can also select multiple photos, which I'm not going to do. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and use this. And this is where you can come through and change the filters on it. And if a lot of y'all may already know this stuff, but I'm just kind of showing you what's going on. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I want to do a post. So let's just say beautiful evening at the, now I'm going to use a hashtag, and then the second I do a hashtag, it's going to recognize I'm doing whatever. So let's say dog park. So immediately I started putting in dog. This is what starts trending when I start typing out dog on hashtag. So I'm going to say dog park, and it shows me the numbers that associate to it. So beautiful evening at the hashtag dog park, which has 2.3 million posts associated to it. Okay. You know, love my community. Oops, hold on. Okay, commingling. Community. And then I'm going to do comma. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tag my community. So I do the @ sign. So I'll do Rancho Siena, and that's where I live. Love my community, Rancho Siena, and everyone here. Okay. All right. So now to make it look a little more aesthetically pleasing, so you don't have to have a whole lot of hashtags, this is what people do. So once you do your post, click enter. And then because what happens is Instagram, if I did this a lot and I did a hashtag just with a bunch of enters, it's going to automatically bring it up and look ugly. So you have to give it some type of separator. So you see some people do it like bullets. So do a bullet, enter, bullet, enter, bullet, enter, bullet, enter, bullet, enter. Also, it makes it look less crowded. So again, I said 11. I'm not going to do 11 right now, but just pretend. So let's say dogs of Instagram. Let's say Rancho Siena. I'm totally making these up. Rancho Siena. Let's do hashtag fishing. And I'll do Tucker. So I'll do hashtag Tucker Jack. Okay. All right. So click OK. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a location. Even though I've already referenced them, I want to say that I was at Rancho Siena. Are y'all following everything so far? Okay. So I just did a post. Beautiful evening at the dog park. Love my community, comma, hashtag Rancho Siena and everyone here. And then I did my separations and I did that. And then I tagged Rancho Siena. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. All right. Let's go to my page. So here's my post. All right. So I want to show you kind of what this looks like. So you see now I have visually, it looks a little bit cleaner with my separators rather than having just a bunch here. So just to let you know, it looks cleaner, but people also do this because they don't really care that bad about the hashtags, but they want to gain credibility in Instagram. Instagram doesn't care where you put your hashtags. So this is why, so if you look at it, let me go back to this real quick. So if you look at it like just like this, you know, it doesn't look overwhelming. Then I scroll down and I've got my hashtags. But they just see that I did hashtags. Now, so now look at this. So now I referenced Rancho Siena, so I could click on Rancho Siena. I'm on their page. So I tagged Rancho Siena and I scroll down here and I want to show you with the whole hashtag bit what I'm talking about. So let's go to hashtag Tucker Jack. So this is what I was telling you. Every post that's associated Tucker Jack. None of this has anything to do with me, which is kind of cool. So like you'll see this kid right here, happiest birthdays to my little dude, Tucker Jack. So I got it like a little poser out there trying to be like my kid, which is fine. This cat is Tucker Jack, I guess. Tucker scowling at a fly, he's Tucker Jack. But look at this. So keep scrolling. All of these posts have Tucker Jack in them. All right, we'll get there. So there we go. There he is. Now we're starting to get into mine. So there's my last Tucker Jack right there. And we scroll down. So you see, now we're starting to get more of me in there. Because like I said, when I started doing Tucker Jack, nobody did it. So there's me, and you'll see a bunch of us together. Like, look at this. I really was the OG with Tucker Jack. Like, legit. See? So now it's all me. Isn't that kind of cool? Like, it's nice to be able to have sort of you as like the primary representative or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of like how you use in the importance of hashtags. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna come back to it because I want to talk to you about my presentation. Any questions thus far? Is it making sense?
Totally is.
Sweet. All right, so let me go ahead and share this screen. All right, like I said, you're gonna see Sarah's pretty little face here because I used her professional account, but so okay, about me. Again, I've already told you about me. Add me on Instagram and Facebook. I like to follow and see what y'all are doing. I promise this isn't my ploy for just getting friends. I like to stay connected, with people I present for. I want to see what you're doing. I want to stay in contact and kind of see, so definitely connect with me on there because this stuff is valuable. I mean, I enjoy doing this, and I want to make sure that you're doing it and enjoying it, and again, it's just fun to stay connected. All right. So we already talked about the bio. We talked about professional account. I showed you where to do it. All right. So let's talk about what to post. Contests are awesome. Any type of contest or any type of forced engagement, scavenger hunts. Where am I now? So like take a picture at a coffee place or whatever and say, whoever gets this right will win a $25 gift card. Happy holidays, closing days, motivational photos, events in the community, events that you're hosting, newsjacking, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, which is awesome. Wire fraud awareness, just things that are important. But like I said, with the whole COVID thing, if you kind of keep yourself in the guardrails of empathy, education, and entertainment, you'll really have a whole lot to post. All right, I showed you kind of how to do a post. Pro tips, the majority of your posts should be about or geared towards your audience. It's so important to know your audience. If you don't know what your audience is interested in, how are you going to know what to post? So remember, post with a face, get more engagement. And here's a big thing too on Instagram. Always use, especially on Instagram, always use high quality photos. Literally, the worst thing you could do is have a bunch of really good looking photos and then a blurry picture. It'll stand out like a sore thumb. So as you post as well, and I'll show you here in a second, like I would tag Sharon, I would tag Amber, and I'd say, thanks so much. Love Providence Title, love getting to hang out with Sharon and Amber. And I would tag them. So tagging people in your posts not only boosts your credibility, but their credibility to make your post more relevant. And it's naturally going to increase engagement. Remember, on Facebook and Instagram, your posts get out to about 8 to 10% of your audience, if that. So by you associating more, and I'll teach you a little hack on how to trick it, but you want to make sure that you're hitting the majority of your audience. You could have 3,000 followers on Facebook, and about 190 to 200 of those are only seeing your posts. And then I say post 3 times a day if you can, and then post stories. And I'll get into stories here in a second. So just because you think something is funny may not always be. So I actually teach a class on what you should have said. So like, something like this. In my town, you get a 5-bedroom house for $250,000, and then it says the town. Like this meme right here might make people, a little bit sad. So don't post that. Getting a lead alert that turns out to be a renter is a lot like going for a cookie only to find sewing supplies. You're making fun of people that are, you're basically saying renters aren't good leads. My first time showing houses to new clients versus my 10th time showing houses, you're basically saying that you hate your crowd, you hate your audience, you hate your clients. Attempting to take a happy closing pic with your client after a nightmare deal almost killed you both. Again, be happy. Capture, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about what's known as experiential marketing. What is the experience of working with you? Okay. So don't do any of that stuff. All right. We already went into how to post. So I'm going to kind of walk you through. All right. How to share to your Facebook profile. So again, you can, and I'll show you within Facebook or within the app, how you can automatically do it. But you can also go into each post right here, click the 3 little buttons, and then click share to Facebook. Good enough. All right. So hashtag strategies, it's focused on who's your audience, where is your audience, and then what hashtags might your audience follow. And again, like I said, at the end of the day, or at the end of this, I'm going to be giving you this presentation. So don't worry frantically about going through jotting everything down. Giveaways are great, branded stuff, calls to action. Every time you do a post, make sure you give some type of call to action. You could do, you could do text overs in your stories. You could do text overs in something like, does anybody use Canva in here? So Canva, if you don't know it, download the app. It's amazing. It's so easy. You can take a picture and then you put text overs over it, graphics over it. It's super nice. Again, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you to a story live on the phone. So newsjacking, this is pretty awesome. So Sarah posted this out a while ago. And it was before the whole Game of Thrones, the whole hashtag water cooler, Game of Thrones edition or whatever. And so when she initially posted it, she got 77 views on her story. Well, then once Game of Thrones, and I'm 8 seasons or 7 seasons behind on Game of Thrones, so this doesn't make any sense to me, but I know the premise of hashtags. So I guess when Game of Thrones was kind of like ending and everything, she used hashtag water cooler, and it increased her engagement 201 at this point. She said she ended up with 330 views on the story. So by you taking a hashtag that's relevant and trending, you're naturally going to be seeing a lot better. How do you know what's trending? Google Trends. So go to trends.google.com, and you could go in and you could say something like restaurants, Dallas, literally anything you want to type in, and it's going to tell you what the trending conversations are. Cool. All right, building your audience. Here's a great way to build your audience. So I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to share my screen again, or my phone again. How to build your audience. Let's say that I post stuff out on Instagram, and I get no likes from it. But let's say I get like 300 views on my stories, and I see every story that I post out there that Sharon's watching one of my stories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Sharon's profile. I'm going to start liking her posts, commenting on her posts, watching her stories. 1, so she sees organically that I'm following her. But 2, is telling Instagram, tie me to Sharon more. Tie me to Amber more. Tie me to Tracy more. By you engaging with somebody, you will start to see them more and more. I'm going to take a quick tangent. In Facebook, it's the same thing too. If you want to increase your visibility, a little Facebook algorithm hack is go through your friends list, scroll all the way down to the bottom of your friends list, literally open up profiles in there, and then and start liking a couple, and it'll say, I'm interacting with Tracy, but I haven't talked to Tracy in 2 years. Brian must want to interact with Tracy, and Facebook will be like, well, let me show you more of Tracy's stuff. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. So let me show you. I'm going to take you into my phone again, and we're going to do a story. All right. So let me bring this up. Okay. Sharon, we better be connected on Instagram. I think we are, right? Because I'm about to tag
I'm not
you.
great at Instagram, so I don't know, but should
All
be.
right. Let me see. Yeah, we're on there. Okay.
Good.
I just want to make sure because I'm about to tag you, and I'm like, how embarrassing would that be if I got to tag Sharon and we're not even connected on there? All right. So let me bring over my phone here. Okay. All right. All right. So now I'm back in Instagram. Okay. So let me talk to you about stories. So what are stories? Stories are awesome because they're kind of like a behind the scenes of your day. Kind of like, what are you doing behind the scenes or whatnot in your day? Whereas your posts are, you're being very intentional. Your stories are, you as an influencer, what are the things going on behind your day? So let's do this. So to add a story, there's a couple things I could do here. So let's say add story up here. I usually just go to the top, click add story, hold it down, and then click add story. All right. So there's several things I could do. I could go live right now. I know this looks really crazy. So I could go live. I could create, so I could just create a post. I can just do a normal. So the majority of the times you're actually normal. I know this is crazy looking, but just go with me. Boomerang is, you could create sort of like a video loop, where it kind of loops on itself. Layout is if you want to do multiple layouts. So I do something here, I take another picture here. Super zoom is, this is how much I like y'all by doing this. By the hearts. Hands free is if I want to set it down. So let's just do a normal, I'm just going to do a normal picture. And I know it looks funny. Let's move this out of the way. Let me see if I can move this. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to take this, because last time I did this, I was like, okay, that looks too confusing for a story. So let's say, all right. So I'm going to take a picture of this, give it a little bit of a filter, and we're going to do this. Picture right there. All right. So I'm making this a story, okay? So here, let me bring this over now. Again, it doesn't have to be some crazy, beautiful picture. Stories are meant to be teasers. So I'm giving you a tease into kind of like what I'm doing. So this button right here is if I want to download it. This is if I want to link it. This button right here with the little face is the one that you're going to use the most. So here you go. So click on the face here. All right. Once we get into all of this, this is really where you could deck out your story. So remember, you want to do a lot of good stuff with your story. The more you do, the better. So let's say location. Let's just say I'm at Providence Title. Actually, I'm in tag where I am right now. Let's do Rancho Siena. All right. So I'm in Rancho Siena. Now, here's the thing when it comes to stories. It doesn't have to be this big sign. I'm not doing this for you all to see where I am. I'm doing this to tag Rancho Siena to get credit from them. Does that make sense? I could care less about you seeing Rancho Siena. What I want is, so basically it's literally just pinch and zoom. So you just kind of pinch and zoom like you do anything else on your phone. So I always just make it super small because I'm not worried about that. I put it down in the corner. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Rancho Siena is still getting notified that Brian Nicholas tagged them in my post. All right, so I'm in Rancho Siena. So now let's say I'm with, okay, so, all right, so I'm going to do, okay, so now I'm going to do the mention. And so I'm going to mention Sharon. So there's Sharon right there. Okay. So again, I don't care about how big it is. So let's just kind of put this up here. We'll put Sharon way up at the top. So she's just kind of up there. Again, now it's going to notify her. So now let's add another thing. So now let's do some cool stuff that I want to be seen. So let's do a GIF, and let's do like a present. Let's do a microphone. Right? That's stupid looking. I don't like the way that looks. Sorry, I'm very finicky with. All right, let's just Instagram. There we go. So we'll do like an Instagram thing. There we go. A little GIF over here. And I'll do text over it, and I'll say, awesome time presenting. Now watch this, and now I'm going to say I want to tag Providence Title. So right there. So now I'm referencing Providence Title. Is this making sense so far? It's just kind of like you kind of get, so awesome time presenting for No. Let's make it sound a little better. Awesome time presenting for Sharon and Amber. Are Amber and I connected on here? Amber's gonna be mad if we're not. I don't think Amber and I are connected on here. All right, don't hate me. It's just gonna be Sharon for now.
I'm shocked.
Right?
Amber's so much better at Instagram than I am.
Let me, Amber. It's PA.
EMB. I don't see her.
All right. Yeah, I don't see her either. We may not be connected on Insta.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, you get the idea what I'm doing. She won't hate me that bad. Awesome time presenting for Sharon Wiggins, with at Providence Title. Okay. Awesome time presenting for Sharon with Providence Title and her amazing hashtag realtors. Okay. All right. So obviously that's kind of hard to see. So I can click on it, and up here at the top, I could change if I want to change the font. So we'll just make it classic, and then I'll give it a background. Because again, I don't need other people seeing, whatever. So we'll do this right here. Okay. All right. And then, is there anything else I want to add? You can add music into it. So I think that's pretty good for me. Okay, here, one more. It's hot today. So it's 93 degrees. There's totally random for you. But it is warm, so I want you to know it's warm. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this over. I can add music to it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, this is good for me. Send. I'm not going to share it to Facebook, so I'm just going to turn that off once, and I'm going to share it. All right, so now I'm going to go into my story, and you'll see this is my story right here. I got 15 seconds of it showing, and I'm showing you that. So Sharon was notified, Providence was notified, Rancho Siena was notified, so, and then hashtag realtors was referenced. So within one story, I got all, here's my kid dancing yesterday. So I fed him spicy pickles. I wish you could hear the music. So he was dancing to Texas country, and the bruise on his nose, I taught him how to drive a golf cart over the weekend, and he smashed his face by running into a tree. If you're wondering
about that. He had chocolate on his nose.
No, that's a bruise. He hit his face into the steering wheel and fell out of the cart and said, "Okay, I'm ready to start driving again." But yeah, like, it's pretty funny. Like, he's eating his pickle, he's dancing the music, he's grooving, everything's good, he's having a good time. He's like, "Wait, that's hot." See? So now this is an Instagram class I taught earlier for Providence as well. And then here's my last one. So it's little snippets throughout my day. So another thing I want to show you. So these right here these are my highlights right here. So these are stories or posts or anything that you want to always show. So like right here, this is pretty cool. Like, I got to present at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette in front of an enormous audience. And so like I highlighted that just because it was pretty cool. And I did hashtag lucky me. Our first day of quarantine, literally day one, I put music to it. I don't know if you can hear it. Alexa, stop. So, but yeah, there's music to it. But you can also go in here, edit your highlight, and you can add a cover photo. So let's say you do like highlights of best restaurants around town. You don't have to have just what the thumbnail they give you. You could change your cover to make it whatever you want. Does that make sense? So to make it a little more fluid. All right. So I want to kind of, before I don't want to go too much into ads or anything like that, since we're kind of running out of time as well. Instagram, deep dive into Instagram and all that stuff. Once we get into ads and IGTV, we'll kind of go with it a little bit more with that. But I want to make sure that y'all have a good foundation with this right now. How are y'all feeling?
I unmuted everybody, so you can talk now.
Yeah, now we're open up. Like I said, I'm going to send Sharon and Amber the presentation. So you're going to have everything to reference. But did this help?